And so there, I had the headphones back on. Let me take these off. There is another aspect to that I also wanted to touch on is the past few days, it's been a lot of goal setting and productivity and all these sorts of things. But I really want to make it clear that at my core, really, it was all about the inner work that I have done that's allowed me to get to this point because I've been there. I was in college and I watched a bunch of Thomas Frank videos. Didn't apply fucking any. All I really had was just a bunch of useless information, a bunch of memorized shit that I wasn't applying to my life. And a lot of you, and similar thing happened too when I was losing weight. I had memorized a bunch of shit about losing weight, but of course I would never lose weight. And so again, the whole component that was missing was the inner work. Why am I not doing the things that I know I should be doing? Well, usually it's because there's some sort of psycho spiritual slash emotional block. And so what the whole point of inner work it's how I define it is that it's basically you unclogging the toilet and you are undoing, or more specifically, you are dissolving these false beliefs, these traumas. There's a term that I really like called educational trauma. Yeah, that's a real thing, man. It's a real thing. Being stuck in school and like hate and coming out of school thinking that you hate learning. That's educational trauma right there. Right. So that's what all the inner work is. It's a process of dissolving it. It's not really about improving. It's not really about striving. It's not really being about or about being better. It's actually you are stripping away all the bullshit so that you can just get back to being you naturally. Now, there's nuance here, right? That's not to say that once you do all the inner work, you're gonna you're just gonna fly off into the heavens and you're gonna be good forever and you're gonna get like an awesome like hot wife or whatever, right? And you're gonna be filthy rich. That's that's not it. Well, first of all, inner work will never be done. The work will never be finished. But the work, yeah. So first of all, the work will never be finished. And second, you will never, as long as you are alive, you will never run away from problems. You will always have some like problems or some shit to deal with as a human being. That's, trust me, no matter how good your life is going to get, you're still going to have some level of bullshit. That's fine, right? And that's fine. It's just how that's part of the inner work is like, okay, when bullshit comes up, am I just gonna sink down and just panic and or allow this to ruin my life? No, that's the point. But really, again, it's also easy to just fall into the treadmill where, oh my God, I gotta do inner work, I gotta do inner work, I gotta go to therapy, I gotta do all these I gotta meditate. Oh man, I missed my meditation today. Oh man, I didn't journal. I'm gonna suck. Dude, relax. And as for myself, I mean, I'm really talking to myself as well. And so, what inner work is supposed to really do is if you have gone your whole life and you either have like crippling anxiety or you're just too depressed to leave your room, well, then that's what the inner work is there for. It's supposed to get you to a point where you can just start living life, and there comes a point where just living life itself becomes the work. And I feel like I have just started to reach that point right now, even though there were some points where I thought I reached that point. But I mean, I guess in a way, in the past 2 years, it really has been that way. Where, okay, more times than not, I'm able to show up and just live my life. And that might sound trivial at first, but when you look at what's going on, people just scroll on their shit all day, or they just watch a bunch of porn, play a bunch of video games, and it's not that any of those things by themselves are inherently bad, but if in excess and doing a lot of it, and that's the only thing you look forward to, that's a problem, right? When that is indicative of a deeper issue at play, a one may say a psycho-spiritual issue at play, and there you go. That's what the inner work is for. It's supposed to help you undo all the bullshit emotionally and spiritually around all this stuff. And again, I want to make it very clear. I am not against all the other stuff about it. I'm all for taking action and discipline and all these other things as well. I'm not firmly, I try not to be firmly rooted into any one thing. But for people who have struggled, and there's a group of people out there who are smart enough and do the research to the point where they know what to do, but they don't. In fact, that is most people, and I would be willing to wager that most obese people, most overweight people, know that you probably shouldn't be shoving a Big Mac into your face, and along with a large Coke and a large fries and shit, maybe a milkshake as well, right? Most people probably know that you shouldn't be doing that, and yet people continue to do it, right? Or people know that you should probably eat less, that you should exercise more, but the opposite way. Eat more, you exercise less, right? So that is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about is okay, if information and having knowledge of what to do is clearly not enough, well then there's got to be something more to it. And that was basically the crux of my own journey. And shit, I still struggle with it sometimes too. Like showing up consistently on threads, writing, getting on DMs, but now it's on top of trying to, maintain my health, trying to maintain my weight, trying to still lose weight, trying to be in shape. So it's really a matter of managing that part. So that's what I mean by inner work. And so there are different modalities to this where that's another thing is it's very easy to go in there and try to pit some of these these things against each other. And so I know that's really abstract, but when I say inner work, that encompasses a toolbox of stuff. So let's say therapy, right? And there's many different types of therapy, right? There's CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and there's a new one that I just heard of called I think it's acceptance commitment therapy. I don't actually know that much about it, but I know there are different types of stuff. So even within therapy, there are different tools, there are different things that are designed to do different things, right? And for myself, I've been getting therapy every week for ever since like 2023. I've actually been now it's only every 2 weeks. But that's not the only thing I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of meditation. In 2024, I started meditating every day and doing a lot of contemplative practices, praying. And so there's a lot to me. Inner work there's a lot of tools and a lot of stuff to do around inner work. There's also, the visualization exercises where, think about your inner child and you know, uh, shit. There's even like now I'm into like the whole Jungian psychology and have engaging in active imagination with my anima. All this shit, right? And all of that really is they're different tools that accomplish different things. And so when I know I'm not a therapist, like I'm not going to tell you don't get therapy or do get therapy. But what I hope to equip you with, is like for myself, is maybe not a map, but a way to navigate the many different layers of this inner work thing. Because it can just be mental, right? Purely mental and mind. But then sometimes you have to go into the body, right? There's like somatic therapy where you literally just shake your body, or you allow your body to shake so that you can discharge trauma because trauma can be stored in the body, right? So all these sorts of modalities and how I would encourage anybody who watches this my previous self is to have an open mind and to understand that what you are is the scope of what you think you are is fucking a little grain of rice. But what you actually are might as well be the entire universe. And so that's really why um, this stuff can be very hard because you're basically navigating your inner universe. And the problem is you can't use your eyes, you can't use your ears, it's something that you cannot navigate with the way that we navigate the physical world. And yet it is just as complicated, just as full with all these cliffs that you could fall off of, and all sorts of animals and monsters that could eat you up if you're not careful. And so that's why I I put down this inner work thing because it's to me it's part of the game.